Well, welcome everybody to Thrive 360. It's our online community and hub that is really designed to give you tools and resources and partnership to help you to thrive, to help you to do better and better in your life. The Bible says in 3rd John chapter 1 verse 2, which is really a theme verse for us, which is beloved or beloved ones or friends, we desire that you would prosper in every way and also be in health, even as your soul prospers. And so at Thrive 360, our goal really is to help us to live that out, to thrive, to do better in every way, in every area of our life. Because the truth is, our lives are full and it's complicated. It's interrelated with everything. So, for example, our relationships with others impact how our health is, and therefore we can go through stress, have heart attacks, have angina, have all kind of issues if relationally we're out of whack. Financially, if we're out of whack financially, that impacts our relationships, it impacts our faith, it impacts every area of our life. And so at Thrive, our desire really is to help you to do better in every area, find by the grace of God the interconnected links between the two, and then grow more and more. And so while we're dealing with the issue of finances and financial health, because the truth is, for many, many years, it has not been addressed from a biblical spiritual insight. And what we want to do is to take what the wisdom of the scriptures, the parables and teachings of Christ, and then integrate them with the best of current knowledge on finances and business, swirl it together, and then say, hey, here are some gems, here are some principles, here are some practices that can make us do better in every area. And so that's why we're giving such focus on the financial part, because that's an area where we consider a gap. It's a missing spot. And I want to really help us to do better there, because that impacts our life in so many ways. And so welcome to Thrive, everybody. Thank you for being this first set of people, this first group, this first inaugural set, this founding set of people. And because of that, I'm just excited. And I want to say thank you that you would trust me and trust us to deliver to you wisdom and insight from the Lord in this vital area. So I wanted to say a big thank you for entrusting us in that way. And I really do believe that you're going to be better for it and that you're going to grow. And so I'm excited about that, and looking forward to meet you and allow you to meet each other. Um, I'm going to share with you the talk that I wanted to share at the seminar about preparing for this future and navigating the potential storms and capturing and understanding the trends of our day, that we can be better equipped to thrive in the middle of all of it. And then once I get that done, then Jermaine is going to come on. He's going to walk us through how Thrive works in terms of the Circle app, how we navigate between courses and events, and how you introduce yourself and how you interact here at Thrive. And so, one thing I want to let you know about Thrive: everybody who is in and on the platform are real people. They're people who have signed up, they have subscribed, and therefore they're not phantom people who could be from anywhere in the world. Everybody here is has paid to be on the site, and therefore they're not going to be, anything weird. And if anybody does anything weird, we can know exactly where they are. We can find them, and we can address it, so that we're in a safe environment as we talk about finances, as we talk about health, as we talk about thriving. I want us to have a sense of feeling like, you know what? I'm not in this open community of a million people who I don't know who they are, but you're with people who are, stepping into the investment with you, and wanting to thrive. And so, congrats and welcome everyone. And we'll have a chance at the end to do some Q&A and some clarification. So I hope you have your note paper with you to take some notes. This video of the presentation will be available by tonight, and you'll be able to to review it tomorrow, show it to your family, and grow together. And so that's kind of what we're doing here, and it's going to be a good time. So wheat. And so just before I dive in, again, I wanted to give a big shout out and say hi to everybody. And I'm glad that you're here. I see Jermaine is on, Val, Nats, Reina got on. Excellent. Mike is on. Oh, cool. We're all here. And so welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Are you ready? And if you're ready for us to dive into the insights for tonight, just give me the Zoom wave that I can know that you're ready. All right, sweet. All right, we are ready, 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 ready. All right, cool. And so let me switch over to the presentation. You're going to see like a PowerPoint, and then you see me on a small screen. Um, and then I'll teach through it, and I'll switch back and forth as best that I'm able to navigate the technology here. And so the first thing I'm going to do is switch over to my PowerPoint, and I'm going to ask you if you have questions, comments on it, you can actually write that in the chat, and at the very end of it, we'll get to do some interaction with it as well. And so here we go. I'm going to share my window, switch over to the PowerPoint window, and then I'm going to share this window. And then I'm going to turn on the PowerPoint like this, and it should come up in a second. Okay, it's working. Ah, there it is. All right, sweet. And so tonight's talk is about preparing and not panicking. And so many of you know me already, Pastor Paul, or in another context, Dr. Rowan Paul Earl, and in other contexts, Apostle, if I'm doing my missionary work. And so I'm just Paul, and I'm glad to be here with you as we dive into this topic together. Tonight we're going to be using as our story is Joseph, because he gives an example of how we can be prepared and not panicked. And many of us know the life of Joseph. You know how he gets his coat of many colors from his dad. He's favored by his father. His brothers hated him. They threw him into a pit. Then eventually they sold him into slavery into Egypt. He starts to work for this guy called Potiphar, and his wife tries to seduce him. He gets thrown into prison. He gets, gets really depressed in prison. He helps out two men who worked for the Pharaoh, and one of them, his prophecies came through. One of them died, and the other one got released. Then he begged the guy who was released, said, "Don't forget me." And of course, the guy forgot him. 2 years later, Joseph is still in prison, and then Pharaoh has this dream, and nobody could interpret it. And the butler who remembered Joseph, who helped him with his dream, said, "I know somebody." Then he goes get Joseph. Joseph cleans up, goes before Pharaoh. He interprets Pharaoh's dream, and he gets a vision and an understanding of what is to come. And then he gives Pharaoh wisdom, and he tells him what he needs to do. And Pharaoh said, "Is there anybody else as wise as you and has the Spirit of God in you? You know what? You be my governor, and you implement this program to prepare for what was to come." Joseph does that. And when he's done, he not only rescues Egypt, but the known world at that time would come to Egypt to get supply. Even his own family, the Hebrew people, would come there to get help. But not only that, Joseph did more. He, during the years of the famine, he had so much in supply that people spent their money, and when their money was done, they gave their property and their cattle, and when that was done, they gave themselves into servitude to Pharaoh. So by the end of this chapter, Joseph accomplished significant things. I mean, basically for Pharaoh, everybody was owned by Pharaoh. All the land was owned by Pharaoh. But also, he provided a place for the Hebrew people, for the children of Israel, and he helped out his family and God's purpose for their lives. And he got them into a prime piece of real estate in Egypt called Goshen. But that's the general story that we know. But I want to do a retelling of the story where I want to walk you through, because I want you to be like Joseph. See, Joseph prepared himself. He prepared for an appointment. I call it a divine appointment. And he planned for eventualities that were to come. and then he positioned himself for prosperity. And so this is the framework I want to lay tonight to help you to get ready for what is to come and the trends in our world today. I want you to prepare yourself. I want you to be ready for divine appointments. I want you to get on the right side of change. Change is coming. And if we are on the wrong side of change, you'll get left behind or get defeated. And so we have to get ourselves on the right side of change that is planning for eventualities. And then number four, I want you to recognize that problems are really your opportunities and how you can be postured. So what are problems for the community and for people becomes your opportunity to meet a need and also to create your wealth. And so this is what we're going to about to do. We have experienced this over our journey, as we have a phrase that we say posture for success. We're saying when preparedness meets opportunity, success happens. And therefore, when an opportunity shows up, if you're going to run to prepare, you're going to miss it. Just like the five foolish virgins who, when the bridegroom came up, they were like, oh, we're out of oil. Let's go get it. And they missed their opportunity. I remember many years ago, I got an opportunity. They were doing this big investment to bail out a hospital. And they said to me, hey, Paul, it's an opportunity. You can get involved, blah, blah, blah. And they said, listen, the minimum entry into creating this investment, this loan to help to bail this hospital out was $120,000. I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't have it. And I'm like, okay. By the time I tried to figure out how to get it, the opportunity closed. And I said, that won't happen to me again. I'm going to be prepared for opportunities. And therefore, I set myself in a position where over time I'm ready. And I was able to move on some opportunities that created some very big wins in our lives and helped us to be people who could, advance God's kingdom, to serve and be generous. So I want you to be able to walk this path that Joseph walked, but really it's a path that you and I are going to walk together. And so let's just dive right into it, and we'll get into some juice because there are some things coming, and I want you to get ready for it as I myself and my family, we're getting ready for it too. So number one, the first thing we saw with Joseph was personal preparation. Joseph, all through the journey, when his brothers threw him into the pit, when he was in Potiphar's house, he held on to his integrity. He did not turn against God, even when things were difficult. When he was in the pit, he did not say, oh, God forgot me. When he was sold into slavery, he didn't get bitter and angry. Instead, he kept himself trusting the Lord and did what was right. He was in Potiphar's house, you know the story, and his Potiphar's wife tried to seduce him. Now, he could take that and say, you know what? That comforts me in my sorrow, and just go into the seduction. But he did not. He held on to his integrity, and he said, I will not do this to God or to Potiphar. And so therefore, personal preparation is essential, that when things are open for us, we can move on it. If personally you're not ready, you know what happens? When the opportunity comes, you don't have the strength of character, you don't have the strength of some habits in your life that allows you to win, and then you get passed over. And I'm going to share with you those four things in which we are to get ready. So in Luke 2, verse 52, it says, and Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. So here are the four things I want to challenge you and encourage you to continue to prepare, that you are ready. So number one, wisdom. This is mental growth. This is where I'm going to encourage you to dive into understanding what's going on in our world, in our community, in our country. That way you can grow in wisdom. The course that we're going to be coming up with on February 10th, that's next Tuesday, and it runs for 5 weeks, is where you're going to increasing your mental growth and your intellectual growth. And we're going to teach you some principles in Thrive that's going to help you with your personal preparation, that your perspective changes, your mindset changes, your lenses changes, that you can see things that you would never notice before. And that's what we want to do, help you to be ready for the future. So number one is get yourself ready. Intentionally say, you know what? I'm going to study. I'm going to read. I'm going to apply myself to these courses and other things that you're learning to be better prepared for your opportunity. Number two, he says he grew in stature. That's physical health. Now, again, we always say, what's the point of making lots of money? What's the point of getting these opportunities, but physically you're not able to handle it because you're too exhausted, you're weak, you're frustrated because you're tired all the time? Listen, let's be intentional, prepare ourselves physically for what we have to do. And here's a basic number one physical thing we have to do: go and get your annual checkup, do your blood work, because early prevention is early cure. So check it out. Don't live in denial and think, well, if I don't know, it won't hurt me. What you don't know will hurt you. So do that. Number two, get your sleep as much as you can, even if you have to take a melatonin. Get some sleep, because our sleep refreshes our brain, helps us to be calmer and stronger to handle what's in our day. Get some exercise if you can. Just do something simple. Maybe do a walk, whatever you need to do, but be intentional about physical preparation. And a nice, easy one is just cutting back on the sugar. Just drop soda. And then when you get used to not having that, then drop refined sugar. And then we get used to not having that. So just do it stage by stage. Charmian always, he taught me this, where if you try to do everything at one time, then you can quit. But just step by step, little by little, grow by grow, you just keep on doing that. And she'll be part of our Thrive community and contributing to it, and be able to share some insights concerning physical health and mental health, that you can be stronger and ready for what's to come. Now, number three is most important. It says that Jesus grew in favor with God and man. And so, therefore, spiritual health is essential. It is the foundation for our lives, it is the source of everything that we do and say and operate in. And so, therefore, let's get that right. Make space for God, that you can grow spiritually. Get into the rhythm of reading and getting wisdom from the scriptures. Get into the rhythm of worship. Get into the rhythm of connecting with people of like heart and mind, that you can grow. And so, therefore, personal preparation is wisdom, mental growth, stature, physical health, God, spiritual health, and then finally, man, which is relational health. Because the truth is, we have to be linked up with others to succeed in life. No one can do this alone. All the people who say they were self made is not true. There were people who gave them opportunity. There are people who supported them, people who helped them. Certainly, they worked hard, but all of us need all of us. We need some other people to work with us. And one of the reasons why we have this, what we call a closed community, is that you can connect with people and collaborate, interact, learn from each other, and grow together. We need each other. One of the things that we learned years ago was that the measure of our miracle from God is directly related to the connections that we have. Because all through the scriptures, I would say 99% of the miracles that are there, it came from one person to another. It came through a channel. And therefore, if you're expecting God to give you a miracle, to do something amazing for you, and you're disconnected, isolated from others, you're going to reduce your chance of that happening very, very, very small. And so I'd encourage you, be intentional about building relationships, be intentional about connecting in this community and others, where people are of like mind and of good spirit. And so number one is, that one is easy, right? It's straightforward. You can prepare yourself personally. And here at Thrive, there are some things that we'll do in community that would help us in actually all these four areas. Praise the Lord. Then Joseph was prepared for the moment. You see, while he was there in prison, the Bible says that he helped the jailer and became like an assistant to the jailer. You know, one of the unique things about Joseph was that he's one of the most favored people in the Bible, used in the most significant way. But yet, for Joseph, the reality is that he was always number two. He was number two to his dad, and he helped him to follow up the brothers. He was number two to Potiphar, and he ran his house on his behalf. He was number two to the jailer, and there he served the jailer diligently. And he was number two to Pharaoh, and he served him diligently. And in this position, he was able to fulfill God's purpose for his life and have good success. So, what am I saying to you? You don't have to be number one to succeed. Prepare for the moment. And here are the four things I want to encourage you to do to be prepared for the moment. Number one, be prepared and be aware of others. If you're so locked into yourself, you'd miss the opportunities God has for you. You'd miss the opportunities for relationships and for helping other people. Joseph, while he was in prison, he noticed that the cupbearer to the king and the chef were discouraged. And he says, "Hey, what's going on with you guys? You look sad." Listen, notice other people and be prepared to help. That sets you up for success. You're sowing into the lives of others, and you will reap back into your own life. And remember, every encounter counts, whether it be in a difficult situation where he was trying to be seduced, when he was in a very tight place, when he was in prison and he hated it. He said, "I don't deserve to be here." Every encounter, every relationship that you meet, somebody you meet on the road, in the gas station, in the supermarket, somebody you meet at church or at work, never just overlook it and think, "Ah, this is nobody." No, everybody is somebody. I take it another extent. I go to a store and I'm purchasing something. I always ask the person at the register, "What's your name?" And they'll tell me. And recently, Shami and I were in a Korean restaurant, and I said to the person, "Hey, what's your name?" And she goes, "I'm Holy." And I said, "Holy, that's an interesting name." And we were chatting, and she said to me, "Say, you know what?" She says, "I've worked here for a few years, and nobody has ever asked me my name." Because what happened is often in these service industries, we treat people like they're robots or part of the machinery, and we just relate to them for the transaction and forget that they're a real person, because you never know how that connection might connect something for your future. I could tell you stories of people that I have met in different spaces and spheres. And because the encounter really counted and we interacted, it created a moment for a blessing. Just last week, I was interviewing someone and saw their resume and got ready, and they evaluated and then set up the interview. When the person came to the door, she said, "Dr. Earl." And I'm like, "Hi, you look familiar." Said, "Yes, you taught my class some 3, 4 years ago." And it just created a click. That way the interview went well. And, they're signed on to work for us. And so you never know. Every encounter matters. Don't just pass people by. Just pause, get somebody's name, introduce yourself. You never know where it might lead for them or for you. And so, number three, to be prepared for the moment, to be ready for that divine appointment, be generous. Always be willing to help somebody somewhere. Again, it's a simple principle of sowing and reaping. If you sow kindness, you receive kindness. If you sow opportunity, you reap opportunity. If you are generous, it comes back to you. And also, it just kind of looks good on you, because that's how God is, and we're his kids. And therefore, we want to display that Christ likeness. So, therefore, to be prepared for the moment, you have to be aware of your circumstances, be aware of other people, treat every encounter as something important and valuable, because people are valuable. Be generous, and also be flexible. There are times you're going to be called out of your norm, out of your pattern, out of your normal schedule. And when you do, if you're like, "Well, no, I'm so fixed and so rigid, I can't move to here or there," you'll miss it, right? Be ready so that when the moment comes, you can respond and be prepared for that divine encounter, that special moment. And so build up your skills, be ready, and be just, I would call, relationally competent, having what some people would call emotional, social intelligence, where you're able to relate to others. These are essential skills that you're going to need for what's coming in the world today. And that might mean for you reading a book. It might mean doing one of the courses here at Thrive that speaks to that literal issue of how social intelligence work and how you are to relate to other people for success and achievement and contentment in life. Because I'm telling you, I'm about to share with you some things that are coming, and if you get ready for it, you're going to be in a good spot. I'm going to break from the PowerPoint for a minute and just share with you face to face on some things that are coming that you and I can be ready for. And then we'll go back to the slide where we're going to be talking about these eventualities that are going to be coming. So let me end this part of it here. How do I come back to that? All right, sweet. Am I in the screen now? Can you see me? Yes? Okay, perfect. Great. So so far so good. Everybody following along with what I'm saying? Everybody's good? All right, great. And then if you have any questions, please just again write it in the chat and we'll get a chance to respond to them, or we'll be able to do it. So, hey guys, this is going to tell you some things that are coming, right? And this is a reality. Joseph saw the future. Pharaoh's dream, he interpreted it that there's going to be 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine. Now, that principle, we use it all the time because we recognize that in every economy, there is cycles of booms, recession, boom, recession. It's just the nature of life. In the same way we have seasons, we have winter, we have summer, that's how economies go as well. And so you can never assume that your economy, your situation is always going to be up. So therefore, you're preparing for eventualities. And now we have an opportunity to look ahead based on what are some of the trends in our world, some of the trends in our community, and make some decisions to be prepared so that when it happens, you're not panicked. Why? Because you are prepared. Often, if something comes upon us suddenly, we'd be like, shocked, and it would throw us out. We'll go through a moment when we sometimes paralyze and we're not able to respond well. Sometimes we freak out and respond in the wrong way. But if we're prepared, if we know that this is coming, then we can prepare ourselves for it. If you know the rain is coming, then you prepare for it. If you know a storm is coming, then you prepare for it. Well, let me tell you something. There are some things coming that in some ways it can be like a storm, and in some ways it can be like an opportunity. I wanted to share with you just about 3 things at this point that are in the world today that create some amount of uncertainty in the world, right? Number one, and it's the rapid technological advancement that is going faster than the average person can keep up with it. And therefore, that's coming. I mean, on one side, we have the AI, the large language models that are replacing, professions and employment all across the world. And the projection of that is frightening. Any profession that deals with language, that deals with communication, any of that that uses intellectual property to do your job, you're at a high risk of being replaced. But we can prepare for that if we prepare for it well. See, recently I had a friend of ours, a cousin really, who worked in a radiology lab and was one of those techs that would look at the slides and those things. No, that hospital system where she worked in Texas closed down that department completely and reduced it to just 2 people, and they were made redundant. Why? Because now they're using technology to read these things, and they didn't need as many techs as they needed before. Wiped out. See? Technology is also advancing when it comes to the automotive industry and the self-driving vehicles. You can say, well, I like it or not, but it's really not about you. There are 80,000 truck drivers in the United States who are going to be at risk of losing their job because the trucks are going to be driven by the computer, and it's going to be, one by one, it's a year by year phased out. Why? Because they don't get tired, they don't get tickets. And so that's the future of what's going on there. So we have to be aware that a storm is coming. We have to be aware that the trends are looking at there's going to be a major shift, and we have to be on the right side of that change, or we can get trampled or left behind. Now, geopolitically, even for us who are investing in stocks and those things, we have to be aware where the economy and the industry is going so that we can be prepared not only when it comes to work, but also when it comes to investing in the market and where trends are going up and where it's going down. And you just got to be ready. And so we're going to talk a little bit now, like Joseph, how he had to then prepare for the eventualities, that there are some things that we need to do to prepare for the eventualities in the world. See, another thing on my little note here is the reality of what's happening globally. The global alliances are changing. I mean, they are shifting incredibly so, and therefore it will have an impact on us here in the United States, in Malawi, in Jamaica. For all of us, all that global stuff, we can no longer assume it to be the same and be an even playing field. Things are shifting radically, and we have to keep our eyes open so that we can be prepared and not panicked. Sometimes when you hear of these things, you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But all you can say is, oh my God, show me your way. Give me your wisdom and your spirit, like you gave Joseph, and allow me to navigate these waters in the way I am to go. So get ready. I'm going to jump back in and show you some thoughts on how we get ready for what is to come, the eventuality. There we go. Boom. So he planned for the eventuality, and we have to do the same. So here are the four things. I want to give you an idea of some things that are coming that creates opportunity for us, but also allow us to go on the right side of change. See, because change, I was going to say change is coming, but change is not coming. Change is here. And the rate at which that change is developing will definitely impact us. So here we go. So number one, with the advancement of AI, if you don't become an AI plus worker, meaning that if you're not somebody in your field that is learning how to use it, and I'm talking not just use it the way people use it now for research, where you just kind of, instead of going to Google, you go to your chat GPT and you do that. Not only for writing us email or those things. That's great. But in whatever field you work in, you have to learn how AI is being applied to that field so that you can get equipped and know how to use it. The horse can either run you over or you can ride the horse. So I'm going to recommend you ride that AI horse by learning the tools and the methodology of how it is. You're like, oh my God, I don't want to. But guess what? We have to. I mean, 20 years ago, when people were afraid of using the internet and smartphones and those things, we had to learn it. And so, therefore, learn it. Don't wait for it to run you over. Instead, learn it, because those who do are the ones who will excel. So, for example, if you're into, um, you know, any of these fields that can be easily replaced by AI, you learn and master it, that you can get better in that field. So if you're into graphics, for example, like these images are created, I just described it. I just said I want something that looks like this, blah 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 blah, and then boom, it spit it out, right? It just does it. I mean, no, I just describe things to this machine and it produces the image. So therefore, there's a whole group of people whose their job is in creating art and doing those things that AI can replace it. Now, what does somebody like that do? What they do is they master it so that they go one level ahead and not let the tool replace them, because they master the tool to produce even better and stronger, right? They also do the plus, which is they add something that AI cannot add by simply building on the relational strength and the insight for whatever client that they may have. So for example, if you're producing in that world that can be impacted by AI in that way, I'm just using that graphic example because I was still very amazed by the graphics it produced for these little images I tried to describe. um, then what you do is become relationally connected to it. So you not only just produce a graphic, but you actually now add to it insights on branding that you can start speaking into what works for that person's industry. You start to speak into their marketing strategy and how everything aligns. And now you're doing not only what the AI can do, but you're doing even more and applying it to your client to win. If you're into, anything. I mean, right now I got a pitch from a company in India that can create AI receptionists to answer the phone, to make appointments, to to link people to their labs. I mean, literally just by them talking to this created person that sounds perfectly exactly the way we choose the accent and everything, and then they can do it. Soon, when you call for your tech services, the person you're going to be speaking to is not going to be a human in India or the Caribbean or some faraway place. It's going to be an AI. And so we have to prepare for that. So I'm going to say to you is whatever you're feeling, if you're in medicine, right, start using the AI. If you're in teaching, start using it and learning how you apply it to that world and in preparing what you're doing. Whatever field you're in, if it involves language, intellect, creativity, any of those things, you just go do the course. You go learn it. You go study that thing, or else you can be left behind. Number two is what's coming is this area of the growth, especially here in the United States. I'm speaking for seniors and social services. Again, the baby boomers are older now, so there's we're in an aging population, so therefore that group of people need a lot of support, a lot of services, a lot of help, and therefore, if we start prepared to take care of them well, then we can have good success. And so look in that industry, see what is happening there, where the needs are there, because when you find that need is your doorway doorway for an opportunity to make wealth. And I mentioned social services because again, when you have thousands of people being laid off of their job, being replaced by robotics, warehouses are now being manned by robots. The Tesla factory is 80% machine operated, and their goal is to get it to 95% where it's run by machines. So therefore, human beings are gonna be displaced from that work. Huh, and we have to get ready. So what's going to happen is there's going to be this increase in social services to prevent the world from going into chaos. So people are talking about a universal basic wage for people who have been displaced so that they can be able to still function. And they're going to tie them to connect with community support and activities to maintain their universal basic wage. This is the future. This is what's coming. And when we plan for the eventuality, it won't hit us by surprise and we're reacting in panic. But instead, we're like, you know what, that's coming. What do I need to do to prepare for it? Not be afraid, just get ready for it. Just know that I need to position myself, retrain myself in a certain field to get ready for what is to come. See, what's the point of learning to do a forklift when a machine is doing it? Instead, learn how to do the mechanics that builds that machine and work on that end so that way you can be secure for the future. Do you see how your eyes have to turn around? Health, that's a major industry that is growing and growing here in the United States and around the world as human seeks to try to live longer and longer. And the thing is, when we try to live longer and longer, is that we have more maintenance to be done for our bodies. And therefore, that industry is also booming. And number four is in planning for the eventuality, what we see is that there are going to be some unique areas where you need human hands and human touch for it to work. And again, in your retooling and in your retraining and your willingness to do something different, do something that cannot easily be replaced by a machine because it requires a human hand, it requires touch, it requires physical presence of a human at this point in time. And you offer that kind of service, things change for you. So, in the same way, Joseph planned for the eventuality of the 7 years of famine by building these cities and these storehouses to get ready for it. We have to start building some stuff saving some stuff, storing some stuff to get ready for what is to come. And then finally, he positioned himself for prosperity by having what's needed so that when people needed it, he could then do it at a gain for Pharaoh, who he was working for. And like I told you, some people were not happy with that, but the reality is he was Pharaoh's governor, and basically from his wisdom, he caused Pharaoh to literally own all of Egypt and all the people and all the livestock and everything. That's what happened with Joseph. Now, how do you position for prosperity? See, this is where your influence will expand. This is where your responsibility for the needs of people will also grow. And it requires you to be a good steward or a good manager of your resources. So, number one is invest wisely. And we would have specialists coming to help us here at Thrive 360 to help you to invest wisely and to help you to learn how to read the trends. That way you don't, purchase stock like you're betting on a horse or you're gambling at Vegas, but instead it takes some thinking to do it well. Or like the Bible says, if you can't do it, you give it to the managers, have an index fund or one of those money market managers run a mutual fund to help you if you can't do it. But wisely investing is going to be very, very important. Next thing is a partner, because some things are harder to reach now. I mean, the prices of homes, the prices of so many things have gone so high that at one time, you know, 20 something years ago, all I needed was like maybe $20,000 and I could invest in some real estate, use the leverage of that to own that home, rent it out, and keep on going. No, you're gonna have to have like $80,000. So therefore, it's sometimes out of the reach of one person. So it's going to require some very strategic partnership with people you trust and creating a way to grow by using the power of being together. Number three, this is essential, is reducing waste. Now, in business, we do that all the time. You have the lean processing, you have Six Sigma. What they do in businesses is grow their margin, their profit by reducing waste. So they evaluate all their processes very carefully. They evaluate to save on time, on human effort. They evaluate to save on cost, to reduce waste. You and I have to do that too. See, when we talk about budgeting and cutting expenses, it's not just like that. It's really just reducing waste. There are some things that you don't want. There are things that you spend that you really didn't need or you're not satisfied with. Then evaluate your spending for the last 2 months and say, where have I just wasted? Where have I done something that really wasn't satisfying? And first level, just reduce waste, right? Check your subscriptions and things that you're not using, just stop. If you took out Stars or Netflix because there's a special movie that you wanted to see, when that series is done, just cancel the subscription. It doesn't cost you any more or any less, and you turn it on and off as you need it. Don't just have it running forever and ever and ever, and you're not really using it. There are some subscriptions, I'm telling you right now, that most of us, if we don't check it, is there and we're wasting it. And so therefore reduce waste. And then number four, provide for people's needs at a profit, right? Um, the goal there is that meet a need. What looks like a problem now is really an opportunity for success. If you know something is coming that's going to create a problem, then create something that's going to help with a solution for it, but engage it at a profit. See? And so some things that are happening in the world today. Some things that are coming when it comes to technology and health and aging. Then prepare for it and say, how can I, meet that need, but meet it at a profit. That way you have the gain to have more influence, to have more help to expand what needs to happen in people's lives. And so I'll drop some final thoughts to you on this important topic. And it's simply this, that really the season that you're going into, even though there's a lot of change going on, is not about fear, really. It's about formation. And so therefore, for Thrive 360, we're going to try to help you to build margin in your life, to increase your investment and your savings, that you're ready for other eventualities. help you to prepare faithfully, and to truly plan to prosper on purpose. And ultimately, that you'll be able to thrive body, soul, and spirit. And so that's what I wanted to share with you tonight, for you to get ready for what is to come and to engage in all of what is happening and be ready. I hope that was helpful for you tonight. You may have to listen to it a couple of times just to get a full inspiration of how you can prepare personally, how you can prepare for the moment, how you can prepare for the eventualities, and then how you can prosper as we're going on. And so we're going to now get ready. And I'm hearing that we may have to adjust to our schedule. And I'm going to open it up for Q&A at this time. So I'm going to take a look in the chat if I see any Q&As. And I see Nats said that was really good, a lot of wisdom. Thank you. Juan asked, is this exclusive to just our church only? The answer is no. It's open to anybody who will be willing to join the community, and to basically agree to the community covenant. So just have a simple covenant that says, hey, when we're in here, this is how we operate. And if they're willing to do so, they can jump right in and subscribe and join the community here. We would love to help as many people as we possibly can, and those who are willing to, to grow and to learn and to do this thing well. And so if you have any other questions, please just type it in the chat. That way we can get to respond to it. And then I'm going to, in one more minute, actually, 45 seconds, give you opportunity to do some hellos as well. And then Jermaine has a video that will walk through the circle platform and how to navigate it. And so once he posts it, it's going to be under the announcement space. Just click on it and just kind of review it with us. Where he is located right now, the Wi-Fi is not working strong enough for him to present it live at this moment, but he will upload the video. That way you can get to see it and get ready for it. In terms of upcoming announcements, Rena says, oh, happy to be here. Great information. Look forward to more. I do have to log off for today. God bless everyone. Sweet. Good to have you. Okay, sweet. I see here prayer request from Kayla. I'm still in a job search. It's been a lot of no's. And so we'll definitely be praying for you on that, Kayla. And also, it's funny, we have a course that talks about leveling up in preparing for not only when you're working, but also I have a pre-work section of that talk that could maybe even help you with that as well. But certainly, we're going to be praying for you, and God's favor will be with it. And then one asks, what about the learning opportunities? So the very next course is our fundamentals course, right? Which is helping you to be profitable. And that starts next week, Tuesday, not Tuesday coming, but Tuesday, the 10th of February. And it would run between 6 and 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then we'll run that for 5 weeks. And again, everything we do live, we can get to do Chris talk about it, but we'll also record the live so that way it's available to everybody on another time zone. And if you want to repeat it, and when we do those courses, we'll also upload the handouts, the worksheets that you can get to use to do it. So our very first one is is like a fundamental course, how to develop a mindset that goes after making margin. And we're going to incorporate stuff we learn in business as well as the inspiration from the scriptures. That way you can actually make money God's way. One of the sayings here at Thrive is that when we have a motive for margin, right, it would allow us to make money God's way. It's like you have to have a sense of purpose. You have to have meaning for your margin. You're not trying to just make money to make money. Somebody once said to me, hey, my goal is to make $1 million. I said, what do you want $1 million for? I just want to be rich. I said, that's pointless and that's empty and that's cold and that's dry. I said, have meaning to your margin. What are you going after? Is your goal to leave a legacy for your children? Somebody said to me, my parents didn't leave anything for me. And she said her goal is that she's going to leave something for her children. She's going to leave a house. She's going to leave some kind of investment, and so therefore she has meaning to her margin. Someone else said they're like me, they want to be able to be generous on every occasion. No matter where you are, you just want to be able to be in that blessed vibe and do that. Some others want to start their own business. Some want to travel. Whatever, you have to have meaning to your margin. And what we're doing this course is walk you through some of the key 4 pillars of developing that mindset that allows you to make a profit, allows you to set goals for your future, and how to actually reasonably work those things out financially to calculate it well, and then how to break down a plan to go after it, all with God's favor on your life. So that's the first course. I encourage everybody here that you just click and sign up for that course. Once you're in the community, all the courses are free. So you don't have to even worry about it. You just have to just click to RSVP that you're going. That way I can prepare for you. And then when we're doing the course over those 5 weeks, we will do some coaching and interacting on what you're learning at the course. Then following that, we're going to break into the investment course, and then we have the course on eliminating debt. And so there's a couple courses that are in the pipeline. Another course that we have ready is a course I talked on how to raise your children to be debt free, and some things that some insights we learned in how to build some habits into them from they're young, so that way they can be stronger going forward. So there's a couple things lined up, and we'll post them and the dates once we pick the dates of launch, and then we'll just kind of lay them out as we go along. Bianca asks, in a future session, can we discuss more jobs around hands and senior services? For sure. I've been doing a lot of reading on that, and that'd be fun. And so we maybe can do a talk on some of those things specifically in how you do it, and so, I mean, truly, I tell you one thing. I've been telling young people that, hey, evaluate that degree, whether or not it's going to really get you anywhere, and maybe you need to do something that is more technically, what you use your hands to be able to fix things that a machine can't do right now. That way, you're going to be prime, and you're going to be the ones that's going to be adding value to people's lives and make a bigger profit. So yeah, so we're going to be just the stuff like trading, real estate, investing. We're going to have specialists coming in for that. German sends his apologies, but he'll be sending a recorded video to everyone to make sure we got it. Thank you so much. Will there be more VIP packages in the future for one-on-one coaches for things like budgeting and investment opportunities? Very good question, Val. Right now, we haven't built that out yet. Right now, in this first season, because our group is manageable, we can make appointments on Thrive. That way I can, or one of the other contributors can meet with you and help you with some of those things, and I recently just did that recently, where we just help somebody walk through the plan for profit worksheet, and be able to learn how to use it to make better decisions. So yeah, we'll help and later on we can build out packages and stuff once we increase the bandwidth. But right now, at where we are, we're going to just help each other. And so we'll match you with myself or one of the other guys here who have already been proficient in that area, and help each other. That's why it's a community. So we got you covered on that way. And so thanks for asking. We'll be doing that. And then when it comes to investment, we have a contributor who will be helping us how to set up your first investments and how to build that out. That way you can do it yourself and save you some costs. Nice. All right. So well, it's 6 o'clock, and our time today was between 5 and 6. And so I'm glad we got this chance to connect. I hope everybody was blessed. And remember, in the hub, if you have any further questions, comments, you have suggestions as to what you would like and would need to help you to thrive, please send it in. And once we are able to do it, we'll do it. If I'm not able to, I'll at least refer you to where you can. You know what I mean? Because here, like I've said to people before, listen, you need a financial advisor. I said, I'm not your financial advisor. I'm going to provide you with education, with wisdom, with principles, with insight and inspiration to go after all that you need. But some of your situations may be so complicated, you might need to just go and talk to somebody, whether at your bank or at your investment house, and work some of those details out. So I can't promise. I don't do that. I'd be too. The calling really is in imparting and empowering you to make better decisions. And part of those decisions might be where you might need to speak to somebody that's their job and that's their profession, and you can do it that way. What we're going to do here is just take you to the next level, and it's going to blow your mind. And then you can apply some of those principles to what you do as well. So if there's a question you ask me, if I really can't answer it, I'm going to say, you know what, ooh, that one is above my head or to my side, or it's just too risky for me to tell you. See, because there are some things that I would refrain from telling you to do. I'm going to say these are some options. These are some things you can do. This is what I've seen, but you have to make some decisions for yourself, because there is a balance between giving wisdom and taking responsibility for your life. You take responsibility for your life, and make decisions for you, and I just help you. So I'd never tell you, don't go golfing because it's expensive. No, you'd have to decide it for yourself. I can say to you though, don't, reduce your waste. Choose what's more important to you at any given time, but you make the decision because you have the power to do it. And God is giving you the wisdom to do it. I'm going to give you the principles and give you examples, but you're going to make some decisions and you're going to win, and do it that way. So I'll never be like, somebody's mama and then, you have to do this. No, you're going to decide and you're going to win, because you're going to be empowered with the tools to make better decisions. Cool. All right, guys. Well, bless you. I am going to pray for us before we go. And again, just thank you for coming tonight. And on February 10th at 6 o'clock, we're going to dive into the most essential part of what we do. It lays the foundation for everything else. So Lord, just bless your people. Thank you for them being here with us tonight. And I just pray that you just inspire their thoughts, give them hope for the future, and allow them to know that they walk by faith, not by sight. And so whatever may come our way, we know that our life is in your hands. And therefore, we are confident in this, that you who began a good work in us would bring it to completion. And so bless your people, I pray. In Jesus' name, amen and amen and amen. Sweet. Well, guys, God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. This was so good. Oh, wow. Appreciate you very much, Ben. Good to see you. I'm going to talk to you because I'm coming to Malawi in April to get some things ready for missionaries that are coming over to you in June. And so I'm excited about that as well. So bless you all and have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.